Let's talk now, though, to Kezia Noble, a relationship expert, because one of the other things, of course, that Harry has confessed to, that nobody asked him about, was that he lost his virginity in a field behind a pub with an older woman who, he says, treated him like a stallion. Kezia, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
I mean, it's hard to imagine a more embarrassing thing to have come out with, isn't it? I mean, nobody asked him to tell us about this, but he's decided to tell us anyway.
Yeah, it's very private, but I understand. He wanted to lose his virginity with a more experienced woman. I mean, I think that's quite a good idea. Surely.
Is it? Yeah, I was going to ask you, in your extensive experience of these matters, I mean, would you say that for most young men that would be the best way to begin your sort of career of lasciviousness?
Yes, I do. Older women are more confident. They are more private also, and there's no strings attached. She's an older woman. She's not going to take him seriously. He's not going to take her seriously. So it's all good. So
yes.
I definitely encourage my students, the ones who haven't had any experience yet, to go down that route.
Okay. And what's in it for the older woman then as well?
Oh. Well,
because he doesn't know what he's doing for a start.
They don't, but younger men do have, how shall I put it, daytime TV, more enthusiasm.
Yes, I know what you mean, yes. Well said, yes. Well put.
And I think younger men, and speaking as an older woman, younger men seem to appreciate older women more than men our age.
Right, yes, because older men have got some advantages, but also, I guess, some disadvantages.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. But, I mean, it's a bit sad, isn't it, that it happened in a field? I mean, this is a guy who was, even though he might have been the spare, he's still the heir to the throne. You think he could have found somewhere a little bit more kind of comfortable?
Yeah, but Harry's a dark horse.
Is he?
We all know this.
Well, he seems to think he's a bit of a stallion. I'm not sure he comes across as a stallion.
Maybe not a stallion, but, I think he's a risk taker. And, if you're going to go do it in a field, there's a bit of a risk element to it, like getting caught. A lot of people get off on that. Like I said, Harry's a dark horse.
Yeah.
I know you're not a fan of him, but I think you'll have to admit that.
Well, I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan. I mean, I was never not a fan of him before. It's just sort of recently that he seems to become this rather overbearing, oversharing kind of individual who, to a lot of guys that I know and to a lot of people listening to this show, is not coming across well as a man, I mean, he's complaining about getting beaten up by his brother. It's very clear that he's kind of, shall we say, in the grip of his wife, who seems to dictate the terms about everything he does. He doesn't seem he's not coming across as particularly manly.
No, he's not. Look, I agree with most things that you say, but I am a little bit, this might, end our friendship, but I am a little bit team Meghan here.
Are you? That's okay. Listen, it's a very broad church here, the Independent Republic. You can disagree with me. It's not, you don't have to agree with everything I say. Tell me why you're Team Meghan then.
Oh, we're going really off topic. I wasn't meant to come on to speak about this. I watched the documentary and there was a part where he showed the articles that were written about Kate and compared them to the articles that were written about Meghan.
Yeah.
And it was like what they were wearing and how they were touching their baby bump. And one was clearly saying, look how maternal Kate is. And then Meghan was doing the same. They go, she's just doing that for attention. You could see there was quite a clear difference between how the media have been treating both of them.
Yeah.
When I say I'm Team Meghan, it's like I'm not even a royalist, by the way. I'm not a royalist. So don't really care that much. But have seen that the press have been pretty unfair to them. And now I understand why, but in the early stages, I thought that, they definitely favoured Kate over
But, of
Meghan.
course, it didn't start out like that. I mean, it started out very differently. It started out where the press were very nice to them. And in fact, funnily enough, when Kate first came into the royal family, the press were pretty horrible about her and pretty horrible about her family as well. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts. I mean, I take the point, and it makes some of it may be true. It's just, I think when you enter the royal family and you are part of it, there's a certain amount of that you have to put up with. I mean, look at what they're having to put up with now.
But Mike, would you agree that the royal family seem to have done more to protect Prince Andrew than Harry and Meghan?
I wouldn't say so, no, because they've stripped him of everything. He's not got any protection anymore. He's not out there moaning about it or talking about it or saying that he's been let down. I mean, I think...
But I feel that they sort of protected him from the media. I mean, the media could have gone, you know, the media seemed to be feasting more on Meghan and Harry than Prince Andrew.
Well, well, I don't know about that. I mean, you would have seen the interview that he did with Emily Maitlis on Newsnight, where he
that was no goal.
Well, he made a complete fool of himself. Yeah, but Harry and Meghan haven't ever given an interview to anybody who might have asked them a couple of difficult questions, you know, and that I think is maybe the difference. But let's finish up on the romp in the field, because Elizabeth Hurley had to come out and say it wasn't her at one point. So. I wonder whether we'll ever find out who it was.
In his wildest dreams, it was Liz. I think every young man would like to lose their virginity to Liz Hurley.
Yeah, very possibly. But, I mean, I wonder whether we'll ever find out. In the old days, newspapers would have been all over the field trying to track them all down, but I don't know whether that's the case anymore.
I would love to find out. I'd like to see who it is. I bet it was nobody famous. I don't think it was anybody famous. No.
Somebody horsey from Windsor, probably.
Just some old scrubber or something.
Your words, not mine. Thank you, Kezia. Nice to talk to you. Kezia Noble, relationship expert there, with her take. And she says, if you're a young man, you should probably learn from an older woman. It can't be a bad thing. There we are.